Israel was hard-headed, stiff-necked, man. Dressed around wax fat. You see, they forgot all. And you think Joachim and Joahaz, they didn't know the story of Moses? They didn't know all the stories that we just read? How their forefathers were rebellious and the Most High jacked them up? Of course they did. They were kings. They were educated, man. You see? But I just show you how stiff-necked niggas are, man. You know the history of your forefathers. All right? Anytime we rebelled against the Most High, he allowed other nations to kick us in the behind, man. When you read about the righteous kings and King David, when he was one with his power, nobody could touch us, man. So why would he die, O house of Israel? That's what the Most High kept asking. All right. So dude's talking about sacrifices. What sacrifices could they have given, man? They ran it into the ground. What sacrifices the kings could have given, man, for the things that they were doing? The Most High wasn't. He said, well, he rejected all the house of Israel, meaning I don't want your sacrifices anymore, man. Okay. And that's the true meaning, even though we use it for Christmas and these pagan holidays. That's the true meaning in the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 23.
Amos 5 and 23.
Still playing?
Come. Amos 5 and 23. Take thou away from me the noise of thy song.
Let me hear verse 21.
Verse 21. I despise your feast days. I will not smell your solemn assemblies.
Yeah, the Lord said, I will not smell your solemn assemblies, man. Because who was Amos? Amos was from the southern kingdom, and the Lord sent him up to rebuke Jeroboam. All right, the northern kingdom. Go ahead.
So ye offer me burnt offerings, and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beast.
So the Most High rejected what? That's the priesthood. Rejecting your sacrifices, rejecting your offerings. I'm rejecting everything. I don't want it. I'm done. All right, go ahead.
Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs.
Don't sing to me none of that. Go ahead.
For I will not hear the melody of thy vows. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel?
So that's why the scriptures say he don't take pride in burnt offerings and sacrifices.
Right.
He take pride in what? Obedience. You see what I'm saying?
Sacrifice is better than obedience.
So these guys still
obedience better than
sacrifice. Yeah. So you see, we brought through a whole history. We came back around. You know what I mean? You're talking about offerings and sacrifices. Nah, it's about Yahawashi, man. It's about obedience to Yahawashi. Because we went through the history right now, how the kings were going off, constantly going off, how the northern kingdom was going off. And then we read it right now, the Most High said, I don't want none of those things anymore, man. All right? Stop offering me these things, man. All right? That's what scripture talks about, having a contrite heart, or your mind, or your spirit, man. Okay? So it is about Yahawashi, man. It always was about Yahawashi, man. Okay? And do something about Paul was off, and you're always hearing that amongst other groups talking about Paul. The Apostle Paul was deep, man. All right? He said in I forgot how the precept go. He said he's the least of the apostles, right? But he put in more work than all of them, man. And guess what? Matter of fact, I think it's we know the ones we're gonna get that Philippians, the 3rd chapter. I think get 1 Corinthians 15. I think it's 1 Corinthians 15. Let me hit 7 on down. 1 Corinthians 15, 7. Then we're going to read Philippians.
Okay, con.
Because people talk mad stuff about Paul, man. That Paul hatred is real, man.
Yeah.
First Paul was deep, man.
That's right.
Yahawashi dealt with Paul directly, man. All right. In fact, we're going to go into it then. Since we talking about Paul, the Spirit got us going on Paul. Let's read.
1 Corinthians 15 and verse 7. After that, he was seen of James, then of all the apostles. And last of all, he was seen of me also.
I've seen him. All right, go ahead.
As of one born out of due time. For I am the least of the apostles.
I am the least of the apostles. Go ahead.
Then am that am not meet to be called an apostle.
Yeah, because he persecuted the church. Right. Why did Paul persecute the church? Because we're going to read in the book of Philippians.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Because I persecuted the church of the Most High, but by the grace of the Most High, I am what I am. And his grace which was bestowed upon me was not in vain. Mm-hmm. But I labor more abundantly than they all.
I labor more abundantly than all of them, man. Okay? Who you think wrote majority of the New Testament? It is the Apostle Paul, man. Who you think was breaking down the book of Hebrews to the Hebrews? Mm-hmm. The Apostle Paul. Why was he able to go through the law and the law of Melchizedek and the burnt offerings and sacrifices and the remission of sins could no longer cleanse us anymore, that we needed a greater sacrifice? Why was he so deep? Because he was a Pharisee. All right? And he was so deep in the law that he persecuted the church. Mm-hmm. He did that because he was zealous for the law, man. Mm-hmm. You see? So ain't no Israelite today could talk about the Apostle Paul was teaching Israel to break the law. Let's read Philippians, the 3rd chapter, man.
Philippians 3 in verse 1. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in the Lord. To write the same things to you, to me indeed, is not grievous, but for you it is safe. Beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, beware of contention. For we are the circumcision which worship the Most High in the Spirit, and rejoice in Hamashiach Yahawashi.
The Jews who knew they were Israelites, all right?
And have no confidence in the flesh. Though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he have whereof he might trust in the flesh.
Yeah, you guys see you guys deep. You think you deep in the flesh? You think you deep in the law? He said, me more. Read on. We're going to read.
Right. Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Tribe of Benjamin, yeah?
And Hebrew of the Hebrews.
I'm a Hebrew of the Hebrews, man. So you guys can't tell me about no law, man. Okay? You guys can't tell me about the law. Go ahead.
As touching the law, a Pharisee.
As touching the law, I'm a doctor of the law.
That's right.
I'm a doctor of the 613 commandments, man. All right, go ahead.
That's right. Concerning zeal, persecuting the church.
I was so zealous for the law, I persecuted the church, man. I was getting letters from the high priest to persecute the church because he thought this Yahawashi thing was a fallacy, man. All right, was false doctrines, man. Was defying the Mosaic law. So he was so zealous, and he was one of the main reasons why Stephen died, man. Okay? The Apostle Paul, man. And guess what? Yahawashi himself had to knock him off his horse because he wasn't doing it to be malicious or evil. He just had that much zeal for the law. He's telling you that, man. So he said, you guys glory in the flesh. He said, listen, circumcise the 8th day of the tribe of Benjamin. I'm a Hebrew of the Hebrews, touching the law of Pharisee. I'm so deep in the law that I even persecuted the church. All right, go ahead. So when people talk about Paul was off and Paul was teaching to break the law, that scripture right there cuts everything they're talking about. Because ain't none no Hebrew today is keeping the laws like Paul was back then, man. All right, go ahead.
Touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless.
Blameless, man. Okay. So he was astute for that law, man. Go ahead.
But what things were gained to me, those that counted loss for Hamashiach. Yeah, doubtless, I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahawashi, my Lord.
I count all that loss. All of those things he just mentioned, he said he count all that loss just to win Yahawashi, because he understood at the end of the day, the only way the Father would accept Israel was through Yahawashi. All right, and he was showing those different churches Yahawashi in the Old Testament. Okay? And he was showing them in the Old Testament because the law tells you that. In order to be purged from your sin, you need what? A sacrifice, man. You see? So he realized who the perfection of our faith and righteousness had to come through the Mashiach, man. It's not going to come through us, because why Israel always fell, man. Okay? That's why kings got carried into captivity. That's why we got carried into captivity. That's why the priesthood was destroyed, man. All right? But Yahawashi restored all things, man. Right. Go ahead.
For whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win a Mashiach.
That I may, so it's all about the Mashiach.
Right.
It's all about Yahawashi, man. Right? That's what Paul was showing them in the spirit, man. You can no longer gain salvation through the law and sacrifices. You have to come through Yahawashi, man. Right? That's why the scripture tells you, Isaiah the 53rd chapter, is Isaiah 53 and 5.
Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities.
Who was that talking about? Go ahead.
The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
By his stripes we are healed. Who is this talking about, man? That's a Mashiach, man. So that's self-explanatory, man. And that's in the Old Testament. All right, for guys to say, you know, Yahawashi in the Old Testament, that means, matter of fact, and that's also in Micah 5 and 2. So imagine that. The Apostle Paul was so zealous for the law, he persecuted the church, man. All right.
Micah chapter 5 verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem, Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from old, from everlasting.
Read it again.
But thou, Bethlehem.
Where was the Lord born? In Bethlehem. Go ahead.
Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel.
Yeah, I was shy. Go ahead.
Whose goings forth have been from old, from everlasting.
His goings forth have been of old, of everlasting. That's why David called him Lord. That's why David said, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit down my right hand. Right. Even though Yahawashi came through the seed of David, he was before David, man, in the spirit, man.
That's right.
Why? Because he's also the son of who? He's the son of the Heavenly Father, man. Okay? That's what says going forth was from the everlasting. He's the first spirit, man. You see? So, you know, we went through all that, man. You know what I'm saying? Through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
I got precept.
It's about glorifying Yahweh Shai, man. Alright.
I'm gonna get a quick precept. Proverbs 8 and verse